Hey guys, I'm here at my client's house and I am working on some videos while I'm doing some work here at the house, but I wanted to do a quick video for you on why I sold my tiny house to live in my van. So stay tuned and we will go ahead and do a quick video on why I sold my tiny house. Hey y'all. So I sold my tiny house. For those of you that don't know, I'll try to put in a link for my tiny house video on the tour of it. But I bought my tiny house 3 years ago, and hopefully this does not fall. I don't have my tripod. It's sitting on a water bottle. I bought my tiny house like 3 years ago, and the reason I bought my tiny house is I needed a place. My tiny house is in Florida. I needed a place in Florida because I was building a business, and I knew I needed a place down here because I was living in my van in Tennessee, so I needed my van in Tennessee. And the reason I bought the tiny house that I did was because, number one, it fit the budget, and number two, I bought it for an investment. I'm looking at my notes here, so if you're wondering. I bought it as an investment, and I knew I would only have it approximately 3 to 5 years, and I had it just a little bit under 3 years. So that's the reason why I bought my tiny house that I did. When I bought my tiny house, it needed work. It needed to get pretty, so I prettied it up. I did a lot of work to it, and then it was time to sell it. So I bought it for a certain amount of price, and then I sold it for a lot more, obviously, because I fixed it up, and I made it a lot nicer, and it was fully furnished when I sold it, and so I sold it for a profit. And the reason I sold my tiny house is because I originally bought it for investment. I knew I'd only be there 3 to 5 years, and the lot rent, I was renting the lot that it was on. So I didn't own the property, I just owned the tiny house. And the lot rent that was there goes up every year, and I knew eventually, sorry, my head itches. I knew that I would eventually have to sell the tiny house because the lot rent is just going to continually going up. And I was only willing to pay so much for lot rent, and then I knew it would be time to sell. Or that I got it fixed up first and it was time to sell. So that is the reason why I sold my tiny house, to live back in my van that I currently have, which is the Dodge CamperVan. I'll try to link that video also. I have a tiny house tour, and then my CamperVan tour. And so I moved back into my CamperVan until I figure out what my next step is. Now, what is my next step? I do not know. I may buy another property. I may buy an investment property. I may buy a boat, a houseboat. I may buy an RV. I may buy a piece of just land itself. I may buy a home. I don't know yet. So you'll have to stay tuned for what that is. I don't know. But that is the reason why I sold my tiny house, to move into my van. I needed to sell it as an investment and roll that over into whatever's next. My goal is to eventually be debt-free. So in order to do that, the tiny house I couldn't keep forever, and like I said, I bought it as an investment anyway, so that money will go towards the next investment, whatever that may be. I don't know yet, but that will help me also become debt-free. So each little step that I'm taking, living in the van will help me become debt-free, selling my tiny house, all that. If I buy another investment property, that'll help me get to the point where I'm going to be debt-free and have everything paid off, even my future place of wherever I'm living or whatever I'm living in. You'll have to stay tuned because I'm not sure yet exactly what that's going to be, but there will be a video on it. And so yeah, it's all to set me up for my future and my retirement to become debt-free. Sorry, I see people riding scooters out there. Like I said, I'm at my client's house right now, but I'm waiting on the computer to finish loading, and I had to do some work here. So anyway, so that's why I sold my tiny house and moved into my camper van. If you guys have questions, feel free to put them below. I will eventually get to them. I am spotty with and without internet, so it takes me a little while to get back to you, and I'll try to do a video on all the questions when I get enough questions. I do have a Q&A before. I guess, I don't know, it's probably been, I don't know, maybe a handful or 2 handful of videos back, 5 to 10 videos back. There's a Q&A on a lot of questions that I answered, so check that out first. And if you have questions, put your questions below, and I will keep you guys updated on the CamperVan life, and if there's something else next in my future, and where we're going, and places to see, and all that fun stuff. So that's all I've got for today, y'all. And remember, y'all, to live a simple, happy, healthy, tiny life. I will talk to you guys tomorrow.